Worrying is mental rehearsal for failure. Every time you worry, you practice to fail. This is an idea or a concept I learned from this guy, Chase Hughes, who's this former military chief. He was on Joe Rogan and all sorts of podcasts, and he basically specializes in behavior profiling, interrogation, and human intelligence operations. So, very cool new stuff I heard from this guy, and this idea of worrying, he mentioned this on Joe Rogan. I recommend you listen to the podcast. Chase Hughes, very cool guy, very hypnotic, but he mentioned this worrying concept, and he said something along the lines that worrying is rehearsal. So obviously it's negative. It means that every time you worry, you rehearse to become stressed out, overwhelmed, and that sort of stuff. So my take on this is, like, I started to think about how to prevent worrying, because obviously we all worry. We can't prevent worrying about things. We obviously have some level of worrying going on every single day. So the other side of this worrying coin is becoming aware of your problems. So obviously we worry about our problems that we have, or the compounding problems that are like accumulating every single day. But how to approach worrying in a way that you like, I'm thinking about how to turn this negative concept into a positive, like, driving force, or turn it into productivity or something positive like that. So I think it's about calm awareness. So you have to become aware of your situation. You have to become aware of all of your problems, and then just acknowledge that you have big problems, if you do, of course. But for example, let's say you do have like problems that are every single day. They're like, you feel maybe some kind of guilt, maybe you feel some kind of pressure from, I don't know, at your work, maybe it's your lifestyle or something like that. So how do we actually not worry about those things? Because we obviously can worry like consciously, but also we stress a lot like subconsciously. So there's like, this is a very dynamic topic, which is kind of complex. So there's a lot of complexity to this topic, but I'm going to attempt to think out loud how we could approach this negative thing, which is worrying. So becoming aware of your problems and approaching them objectively, like calm approach to your problems, is the key factor, obviously, because if we worry, it leads to even more. It's like a snowball effect, you know. So it's very hard to unpack this, because I could tell you just don't worry about it, but that doesn't fix anything, obviously. So I think it's more about practicing. It becomes like a mental practice. It becomes a meditation to practice um, turning your worry into positive outcome, so to speak, or turn it into positive productivity or something positive like that. So I think it's more about this Chase Hughes guy actually is evolved in hypnotizing also. So he's like an expert in, I don't know whether he's an expert in hypnotizing people, but he knows that it's not a woo woo thing. It's more about the techniques that he uses to change, to get people to agree on their identity, to get people agree on who they are, and then like navigating people through those um, identity kind of, how do I explain it, like mm, identity driven behaviors maybe, or something like that. You know, he essentially he makes people agree on who they are through his persuasive and also like manipulative speech. Or it's not manipulation, manipulation essentially if it's done within like um, positive in a positive frame, you know, like if it's not, if it doesn't cause any harm, it's obviously like positive. So persuasion essentially. um, but hypnotizing, yeah, it's obviously not like woo woo stuff. It's basically the techniques he uses to get people to like level up their mindset. If yeah, or then of course in investigations he uses it for like revealing the truths that people hide. For example, getting a criminal to admit that he did a certain crime or something like that. So interesting stuff. I recommend you search Chase Hughes and listen to the podcasts he's been on. He's been on Joe Rogan, Jack Neal. Was it Jack Neal? Then PBD podcasts, all the famous podcasts. Stephen Bartlett, the Diary of CEO, and yeah, interesting stuff. But about the worrying and turning turning worrying into a negative excuse me, positive thing, it I think it comes down to everyday practice. It's like you must meditate on it. You must like hypnotize yourself in a way, if I could say that. We could even say like, yeah, you practice the same way you go to the gym, the same way you meditate, the same way you practice playing the guitar, the same way. It's all like, I didn't realize myself because I suck at managing my stress sometimes, and I worry a lot about, like, I worry about things. I've learned the art of not giving a fuck in a way, but I also know catch myself like worrying about things like often. I'm not gonna lie. So this is an interesting topic for me. So comment below if you have like more knowledge on this topic, or how do you manage your worrying and how do you turn it into a positive outcome. Yeah, I think there's not a lesson in this video today, but this is something I'm pondering, and this is something I will definitely contemplate and talk about in the future when I learn about it more. So yeah, um, this is going to be today's video, and guess I'll see you tomorrow again when my brain is all clear again. So peace. See you tomorrow. Ciao.